Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. 1M as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator for technology startups. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. In support of that mission, we've been doing these free roundtables for years and years and years. We started in 2008. This is the 605th session. Every single recording is available on our roundtable channel on YouTube, 1M Roundtables. On Twitter, we're at 1Mby1M and at Stromana. You can use hashtag 1M1M today for live tweeting. These are the call-in instructions. We have quite a bit of scheduled programming first. There are 4 entrepreneur pitches, so we'll see how much time we have to do more Q&A beyond that. But generally, you can interact throughout the session in public chat. And when we do Q&A, you can dial in or you can turn on your computer audio. All of those options are fine. Just want to set some expectations before we kick in gear the entrepreneur pitch session. Whether you're pitching today or at a later date, remember, this is a safe working session. You don't need to be worried. You don't need to be nervous, defensive, nothing. We are on your side. The only reason we're doing this is to help you accelerate and contribute to that process. There is no other agenda here. And it's possible that you might disagree with my feedback today. It's your venture. You do whatever you want. Listen to the feedback, process the feedback, decide how you want to proceed. One thing, not all businesses can raise money, should raise money. Not all businesses scale in the 0 to 100 million in 5 to 7 years kind of mode. So just have to factor all of these nuances into your strategy. And we do a tremendous amount of strategy work here. That is our primary, core competency and focus, is doing really good strategy work. We're going to start with Kirill Denishev from Tbilisi, Georgia. Kirill, please unmute your line and tell us what you're working on.
Yeah, thank you. I'm pleased to be here. I'm pleased to meet you all. And yeah, I'm Kirill, CEO and founder of Pistis, and we are building a reputation-based loyalty programs platform for car rental services and their clients. Next, please. Well, the main problem we are about to solve is a lack of the tool that would allow to customize the loyal customers' reward. Big Five, the companies that have 65% of the market, have their own loyalty tools, but they are old-fashioned, and according to KPMG, they don't feed the expectations of the clients. Next, please. So let me introduce you the solution. Pistis, a Web3 platform that allows to offer the loyalty reward based on the client's reputation stored on soul-bound tokens on the blockchain. It also addresses a problem of difficult joining and participation in the programs, and for smaller companies, it allows to create coalitions to effectively compete with larger players. As an example, it could be a cashback based on the reputation. For instance, a client has a 4-star reputation and traveling to Mexico. Based on her reputation and car rental terms, the service can offer her a cashback, for example, to 20%. And after she returns the car, the service will add its own feedback that will impact her reputation. Basically, the feedback will be based on how the client followed the terms of the service. And next, please. A part of client soul-bound tokens, there is the utility and governance token. Businesses will pay in PSTS for the services available on the platform, and the demand for tokens will increase the price of PSTS. Also, on a later stage, PSTS holders will participate in the governance of Pistis. Next, please. Thanks. According to Statista, the revenue of the global market of car rental services is around $100 billion. And currently, we are focused on Asia, and assuming we partner with 5% of services on the market, we can earn $200,000, $200 million annually. Next, please. Okay, competitors. There are competitors in both Web2 and Web3 segments. Forum 3 showed how efficient the Web3 loyalty program could be by creating one for Starbucks. And there are no Web3 products that take into account client's reputation. So Pistis is going to be the first one. Next, please. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, PSTS is a utility and governance token, and currently we are offering 8% of PSTS tokens for $480,000. This will allow us to complete pilot, run a marketing campaign, get paid clients, and start earning by removing the cash gap. Next, please. Yeah, basically that's an estimated funds distribution. Next, please. Yeah, that's our roadmap. We have already completed MVP. There are several companies in the wait list, and we are getting ready to run a pilot with one of them. And in the 2024, we are going to run an initial DEX offering. Next, please. Thanks. Yeah, that's our team. It consists of experienced founders with a track record of success. It consists of technical superstars and a bunch of highly skilled professionals. Next, please. Yeah, and the last one. Please feel free to contact us, and thanks for your attention and for your time.
So, Kirill, I'm going to go back to this slide, the competitor slide.
Yeah.
Are you a car rental company?
No. We are a platform that offers to create loyalty programs to car rental companies.
So these Hertz and Avis and Enterprise, these are your customers, potential customers, not competitors.
Yeah, they are. And they do have their own loyalty programs.
Yeah,
so we are competing in loyalty programs field with them.
Are you, or are you enabling them to create loyalty programs on top of your platform? Are you competing with their loyalty programs, or are you trying to revamp their loyalty programs?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we need to offer them something that will make them refuse of their old-fashioned programs, use pieces, or maybe use both ways to reward their loyal customers.
This slide is extremely misleading, so you may want to look at it and redo the slide. Another misleading slide is this one. So car rental market being $100 billion doesn't mean that your market, the Pistis market, is $100 billion. Your business is running loyalty programs on behalf of car rental companies. You're not in the car rental business. So how is the car rental market your market?
Yeah, we have a business model where, for example, a cashback, we are going to get a fee, 10% fee from cashback. So if, for example, a client gets 10% cashback, we're gonna get 10% of 10%. It would mean 1% of the total check. Okay. So that's how.
Doesn't make your TAM $100 billion.
Sorry?
That doesn't make your TAM $100 billion.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's something that's the market we are going to participate in and get our small piece from this market. So you need to redo this slide. If it's 10% of 10% of the total market, then it's 1% of 100 billion is your TAM, not 100 billion. Okay. So you need to redo this slide as well. Okay, thank you. So basically,
the question that people will ask you is that, do you have any validation or any indication that Hertz, Avis, Enterprise, Budget, Alamo, Sixt, wherever, is anybody willing to work with you in this mode? Have you done validation work? Have you talked to the loyalty program leaders of these companies?
Not yet. We are currently uh, mm, getting ready to start a pilot with a small rental business in Mexico. And next, we're gonna come to bigger players and talk to them, because we need to show some traction. We need to validate, and pilot are gonna be our validation.
I don't agree with that.
Why?
In our philosophy in 1 million by 1 million, we advise people to not write a line of code before actually immersing yourself in customer discussions. So you should go talk to as many car rental companies as possible and validate your concept before you write anything, before you build any software.
Yeah, we have several companies in our wait list. They do want to integrate our product, and actually we built the product according to their requirements.
But you
So
just told me that you haven't talked to the biggest ones, and if the bulk of the market is in the hands of the biggest ones, then you need to talk to them and get their buy-in. Otherwise, this is going to be a very small market.
anyway, smaller companies, they still have 35% of the whole market, and
35% of 1 billion is 350 million. If your total available market is $350 million, you're going to have a hard time raising money.
okay.
Because when investors, if you're looking for VCs to consider investing in your company, they're looking to go from 0 to $100 million in 5 to 7 years. To do that, you need a much larger TAM market.
Yeah, and by the way, the reputation-based cashback is just one revenue channel for us, because another channel is we are going to open a kind of marketplace with NFTs that could be bought for crypto and used as a coupons to get, for example, a free day of driving some car. And that's where you're gonna get about 3% of check and from the total market. You see?
Again, I would say two things. You need validation, and you need to define what is your real market and what is the real market size that is for your business, not the entire car rental business, not the entire world's car rental revenue, but it's what is the business that you can build, how big is the business that you can build. That's what's going to determine, whether this business is viable or not. So I strongly advise you to not avoid talking to the big guys, try to get their buy-in. Otherwise, you have to really focus on that 35% of the small car rental company market.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. James, you're next. Please unmute your line.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to introduce you to Council. Just as a quick sort of context, I've taken any reference to our investment round out, but just to give some context, we're pre-revenue at the moment. We're a SaaS marketplace that's launching in July this year. So Council is a marketplace where businesses can come and get proportional advice from advisors that allows them to do a better job of growing and maintaining their own businesses. Next slide, please. Why are we doing this? Do the next slide. Yeah, lovely, thank you. Why are we doing this? There is a huge problem in the UK where, on average, on an annual basis, small and medium-sized businesses are losing collectively up to £12 billion through advice that is either badly timed, badly sought, or badly given. And go on to the next slide, please. But we recognize that advice is important for small businesses. In fact, getting the right advice from a marketeer, from a reliable lawyer or a reliable accountant at the right time and in the right way can be a huge leap forward for a business. However, small businesses tend to be quite immature in their ability to understand what it is they need and certainly how to articulate that need further to others. In the UK, as I said, there's a £60 billion market annually that is spent. And a recent survey done by one of the business support organizations here in the UK has said that most people feel that cost, that spend is increasing. And with a 20% loss on that 12 billion figure is huge. That's just the UK. That 60 billion figure in the US translates to nearly 250 billion US dollars. So there is a big spend here by this kind of organization, and there is a big loss. The market has challenges on both sides. This is why we're forming this marketplace in the way we are. Consumers are struggling to articulate their challenge. They're struggling to find results when they're searching for people where they don't have an existing network. They're really struggling with understanding the value of what they're getting, often having to enter into longer contracts where what they actually just need is engagement and advice from the right people. Not that they won't end up being in contract with organizations, but often they're finding themselves sucked into that process a lot sooner than they need to for where they are as a business. Pricing in the UK certainly lacks transparency, and so does search for services, with a lot of very, very misleading presentations of capabilities on both sides. Providers are struggling because this is really expensive. If you're going to do this yourself as an organization, it's a skill set that you probably don't have to market your business. It's expensive to do it, and you're competing in a very crowded marketplace. Bigger firms are using pricing approaches that are squeezing smaller firms, and it's really quite hard to differentiate in a referral market where people aren't looking for consistent and ongoing relationships. This all leads to the fact that the best way of actually presenting somebody as a referral to another business is the trusted advisor approach, which doesn't scale necessarily. So what is Counsel? Counsel is a complete marketplace. We call it a complete marketplace because we want it to be there for the entire life cycle of any business. So this isn't somewhere you come once, this is somewhere you come every time you need advice or support for your business. We want people to be able to find and connect with professionals, initially as businesses, over time as individuals as well, where people have expertise that your business can benefit from that perhaps are in a full-time job currently, really leaning into the fractional working environment we're seeing more of. We want to be focused on easy access to expertise and advice. We don't want people to have to sign up every time, go through lengthy contracts and processes to be able to get that. So we want to be really, really easy and quick for people to get access to those experts. We handle the quality and we handle the security. I'll come to that a little bit more in a minute. But what that leads us to is this ability to be a trusted advisor by introducing people in a digital format to people who actually have really specific needs and people who have really specific capabilities, and aligning them not just for the right meeting, but at the right time. We learn about our businesses. We want to adapt and grow alongside them. So we're always evolving to the extent over time. We're applying AI models to data about businesses over time, where we're going to hopefully know what your next need is before you necessarily do. And we want to do all of this to help say goodbye to that frustration and inefficiency. And we want that to do that because we feel businesses need to be focusing on the most important thing for them, which is running their business and making sure that they have their own growth. So a few elements to the platform that make it different. As I've mentioned a couple of times, we're advice first. So we have a phrase where we prefer conversation over contract. And we have an opportunity for people to speak from 30 minutes onwards to anybody on the platform who has a specialism that they can benefit from them. You can, through the platform, go on to spend more money with those people, but initially we focus and push people to have advice and conversation.
And that is a paid conversation?
Yes, it is indeed. And that's particularly interesting to providers who a lot of them are giving that away for free at the moment as business development activities. So that's very interesting to that side of the marketplace. But there's a problem here, which our question builder will help people, is a lot of those conversations are wasted because people don't necessarily know what the question that they're trying to ask is. So I'll give you an example. I want to speak to an accountant, has absolutely nothing compared to I'm thinking about internationalizing my business and I need to know more about cross-border taxation. So our question builder will help SMEs create a greater maturity of their ask. We're going to do that using initially goal-oriented questioning and moving over time to doing full indexing of businesses and business information to do an NLP search functionality to really get to the bottom of what the ask is in order to do perfect matching. So this is not a here's 5 providers that might help you. This is a here's the person that has the answer, the culture, and the specific expertise to solve your problem. We're membership only and we're vetted fully. So we do all KYC, KYB checks for people, so organizations don't need to do that every time. And we're membership on both sides of the platform. I joke to this being like a dating app that is paid for rather than a free one. We want the people who are here to be serious about engaging and being involved in it. Full life cycle, and we're going to work on connected projects over time as well. So, for example, I want to sell my business. We're going to bring a whole curated collection of advice and support around something like that so people can buy that as a package. Our focus over the next 12 months post-funding is to further develop the revenue streams to onboard both waitlisting and new users and to start to use some expertise around network effect, to start looking for initial clusters that we can exploit. We're assuming they're going to be on an industry level. We're not entirely sure yet. So where do we sit? Well, having a look at all of what's going on today from a consumer positioning, we're not trying to commoditize, we're not trying to cheapen advice, we're trying to make sure that relevance and quality are maintained. So we're never trying to reduce the price here or become a commoditized offering. We're trying to make sure that people have the access to the right people and to continue to spend in the right way, not reduce it. From a provider perspective, we want to give them everything that personal network gives them, the relevance, the relationship, and something that they continue and build over time. So we're a subscription model from the consumer side, which is this piece. There is a tiered approach. In essence, there are some features that grow with this, but on the whole, this is the amount of credits on a monthly basis you get to speak to people. And over on the right-hand side there, providers pay a flat fee to be here. If the work grows and becomes a wider piece of quoted work, we also take 10% of that as they develop into wider pieces. Where are we? We just skip on to the next slide. We only launched in January. This has been a very rapid process. We have, to take you a minute ago, we've been not putting a line of code down until we were sure and we'd spoken to these people. So we've done a very intensive research phase. The founding team all come from the position of either selling or buying these services over a long period of time. So we have these networks that we've gone out to and validated. That's led us to build and further test what we have with a small group. It needs to be bigger. It is growing, a small group of early users who will transition onto the platform when we launch. And we are, as of next week, about to start our build phase for our MVP, and we will be launching in July this year. So really quickly, the last slide here, founding team.
Just a second, I have a question here.
Yeah.
So the people that you have identified or talked to or who are part of your current process, what is the composition on the buy side versus the sell side?
Composition in the sense of numbers or types of business?
Both.
Yeah, so we're being very strict. So one of the problems in the marketplace at the moment is there's an oversaturation of providers. So we're keeping a limitation on our providers. We have at the moment equal numbers of both, but that's because we've been controlling the group to do it. The composition of organizations who are consumers is made up mainly of small businesses. They range from everything from car showrooms through to online digital marketing companies. From the provider side, the leading pieces we've had to date have been accountancy and legal, followed up by product and project management consultancy firms. So they've actually come out of our work so far as the three most interested parties. We want to go for a complete breadth, but we will focus on those initially as high core needs from the SME group.
These numbers that you have, 100 users, 200 users, 300 users, this is the combined, the buyer and seller. Yeah.
Yes, combined, and we are looking for somewhere in the region of 3 to 1 consumers to providers to make that up.
Yeah.
Finally, founding team. This is a group of people who are, every single one of them I've worked with for many, many years. We have mixtures of AWS, Google, cloud architect there in Matt, who's our CTO, through to our PwC accountant background in Johan. Myself, I've been running a SaaS business for the last 10 years, and Nick, our head of product, has had several aggregator-based marketplaces that he's launched. That is us. I'd love your thoughts.
How are you funding the company right now?
Bootstrapped at the moment. Bootstrapped plus some investment from founders for MVP build.
And how far will this bootstrap mode take you?
So bootstrapped, it will get us to MVP launch and beyond. We have a plan for our 500K pre-seed raise, which will allow us to accelerate our plans. But bootstrap will take us to the end, well into the end of this timeline without. It's just a case of being able to move faster with the investment.
And your expectation is that these transactions will start happening and you will have revenues?
Yes, revenue from day one. That's why we're building the lists. We've had very good response rates to marketing tests we've done with either above average or average SaaS marketing responses. So very happy with those. We're taking a weekly increase rate, a weekly growth figure percentage as our aim. So in the early days, it can be very, very manual, and as over time, we'll need to switch to a more marketing focused approach.
So James, I have a similar comment for you that I did for Kirill on the market sizing. Market sizing needs to be derived on the basis of business model and pricing model assumptions. So it looks like you have a SaaS business on both sides of the table, plus you have a transaction business. So you need to size bottom up all three of those. All three revenue lines basically, and assess TAM for all three. So if an investor looking at this will need to look at that bottom up TAM analysis. Without that, it's very difficult to assess how big a business can this be. So this is true for everybody who's listening to this conversation. Anytime you're trying to build an investor pitch, bottom-up TAM analysis is an absolutely essential piece to put together.
Yeah, and we've done that, and that's been very interesting. It's just, you're right, it's not in the pack, and I'm listening to your conversation before. The size of the problem is what we've got there rather than the addressable market.
Size of the problem is interesting, but size of the market is essential.
Yeah, understood.
Do you have any other questions?
Not specifically. I think listening to everyone's been useful. So no, I guess with marketplaces, perhaps what is the one thing you've seen most people fail at that we should be aware of?
There's a course that we have on Udemy. I don't know if you've done it, on two-sided marketplaces with lots of case studies. It's worth looking at for people who are doing marketplaces, where I case by case, I kind of go through all of that, all of those issues. And it's good to hear from people who are building marketplaces. So take a look at that. It's Maureen, could you give James a coupon for that course, please? Okay, we're going to switch to Dhruv. I'll come back. I can take more questions after I finish working with the other two presenters here. Dhruv, please go ahead and unmute your line and let's listen to what you're doing.
Good morning. My name is Dhruv, and I'm a student at University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. My startup is Audion Tech, and I am pitching today for Glimpse Music, a music discovery app. Next slide, please. So, streaming platforms like Spotify nowadays give us access to an almost unlimited collection of music. But have you ever tried to find new music on these apps? I've always felt overwhelmed by choice and given up halfway. Also, most of these song recommendations are extremely biased towards the top 1% of music. So, this problem of top heavy discovery and the opportunity to solve it is only getting bigger as the volume of new content is dramatically increasing. And now, with the boom of generative AI recently, it is only going to get more difficult for us to discover this new music and for also for artists to effectively promote their content. Next slide, please. Yeah, so let's look at this in terms of some numbers. 84% of music listeners today listen to music on most digital streaming platforms. And of those, Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon Music are the leading platforms where people listen to music. But if you look at the second graph on the right side, you will see that only 35% of new music discovery happens on these streaming platforms. The rest of the music discovery happens on social media, radio, and other miscellaneous sources like movies, TVs, and through friend circles. Next slide, please. What that data just showed us has always been known, that listening to music and discovering music are completely independent activities. Listening is typically done in a passive lean back kind of mode, where like you're while driving or working out, whereas discovery and finding new music requires focus and attention. That's why our solution to this is a dedicated music discovery app, and our app is Glimpse, and that's our logo. Next slide. So this is basically how the app works. Songs are presented as 30-second snippets in a deck of cards. You can swipe to skip the song or double tap and add it to your library. Users can also share their discoveries and embed them on their social media posts. Oh, and you don't even need to install or sign in to the app to sample these shared songs. It's as soon as you click on the link, it's an immediate tasting of that music. We also make this experience fun with features like leaderboards and fandoms. And yeah, finally, the third picture on the right side shows how a potential music influencer on Glimpse can monetize their content using our music promotion marketplace. Next slide, please. The picture below on the left side shows what exactly $1,000 can do for you if you are an up and coming artist on most streaming platforms today. If you are an artist, for 250,000 listens on one of your songs, you earn $1,000. Whereas for promoting that song using paid marketing, $1,000 will only get you 200,000 streams. On Glimpse, we offer 1 million previews for the same $1,000. Also, those are some factoids. Breaking an artist today, on average, costs around $2 million breaking an artist into a major market costs around $2 million. And then on the right side is just a peek at the TAM and our target market. So the music streaming market in total is of $8.4 billion, whereas our target market, which is the promotions market, is just under $5.5 billion. And our projected revenue for 2025, I think that should be 2028, is $50 million.
So, Dhruv, this is, as you can see, this is coming up constantly. The issue of total available market is paramount. People cannot assess how big a business you can build and how fast you can build that business without a clear TAM model. And that TAM model needs to a bottom-up TAM model. So if I start kind of dissecting your TAM here, you're talking about the music streaming TAM, 8.4 billion, but you said it yourself. Most of this is the fat head. It is not the long tail. Whereas your
Correct.
business is the long tail business, right?
Yeah.
So we just went through this with the car rental scenario. The fat head is the big business. The long tail is a small business. So what is the long tail music streaming business? That's the only business that you will be able to crack into. You're not going to be able to crack into the fat head. That is Spotify, Apple, blah, blah, blah. That business is not where you're going to be able to crack into. So we're talking long tail. What is the size of the long tail music streaming business? That is one of the drivers of your TAM. Now, then comes the question, how many artists does that consist of, that long tail? And how many of those can pay you for promoting their streams? How much are you charging them? And based on that, you're going to have to come up with a total available market model. This is my first feedback that you absolutely have to address. You have no choice. You have to address this.
I was actually thinking of that, and I was beating myself up when you were talking about it in the previous two presentations as well.
Yeah, so you see, you learn from other people's case studies as well, isn't it? It's great. But now the other point here, I don't know if you have this later in the slides, because you're talking about 1 million glimpse previews is what you're going to offer for $1,000. Now,
Right.
that means you need to tee up the consumer side. How are you going to get users? What is your strategy for recruiting users? What is that going to cost?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Our strategy for recruiting users is we have a completely sign up less application where you don't even have to sign in, or it's a completely free app, and you can listen to music without having to sign up. That's our main unblockage of user onboarding. And on top of that, we are
Find out about you. I mean, what?
Yeah, so we are
to go. I don't know that you exist until you came to pitch here. I wouldn't know that you exist. And if you need millions of people to know about you, that's not a passive job, right? I mean, you can't just sit there and expect that they will find out somehow. They won't. So what is the strategy for people to know that you exist and that they should go download your app? You haven't thought about it?
Yeah. All right. No, I have thought about it, but also we are a very early stage startup. But like you're answering your question, marketing in terms of approaching music influencers on already existing platforms and reaching out to these influencers to promote our content, as in embed our decks or playlists onto their app, onto their social media. And that was one strategy we had. And then also another one was...
So is this app done? Have you built the app already?
No, we are very early stage. We have an alpha
business, right?
Sorry, can you say
The
that
concept,
again?
not a business yet.
Yeah, we have a restricted alpha right now to around 200 users, and we are in the process of validating our product market fit.
Okay. All right. So what questions do you bring? What questions can I help you with?
I already, I think you've already answered my question about how do I effectively calculate the market and what my business can be, was going to be my question. But I think you've given me some idea about it, and also you were talking about a Udemy course, so I'll definitely look at that.
That's the Udemy course that I just referred to James is the two-sided marketplaces course.
Right. It somehow relates to us
It's
because
kind of a two-sided marketplace, actually.
exactly. Yeah, that's why I was thinking, oh, maybe I should take a look at that as well.
Yeah, why not? often it is the producers who come on first. So I think you're going to need to, so listen to those case studies and frame your scenario in the way these companies have framed. See if you can learn from those case studies and draw lessons to figure things out, because obviously there's a chicken and egg here. I think James has a little bit less of a chicken and egg because it starts to generate revenues very early, because it's a it's a business to business, small business to small business. People can start getting advice right away. You need a lot of consumers before you can start charging your musicians to promote them. So you need to solve the consumer end more categorically, and you need a strategy for that.
That makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Interesting that we have all these marketplace companies. I love marketplaces. I think marketplaces are a fabulous way to build businesses, but they're not easy, and you really have to kind of put one foot before the other, and before the marketplace starts to kind of roll, there's a lot of early stage pieces that need to come together before transactions start to happen and revenue starts to happen. In some cases, revenues start happening faster than others, but it's interesting. Okay, good. We'll go to Saket. We can come back to each of you during open Q&A. Saket, please unmute your line. I heard you talking to Maureen when you were doing setup, and you were saying something about you're not in San Francisco. You are in San Francisco. You're not in San Francisco. You're Pankaj's friend, right? Yes.
I came to India just day before yesterday. I
You
was in
normally
San
live in
Francisco
San
3 days back. Yes.
Got it. Okay. Tell us, what are you working on?
Just so shall I start?
Yes, please.
Okay, so hello everybody. This is Saki, and I am talking about a new technology for water purification and a solution for offering sustainable drinking water solutions. So can you go to the next slide? So in the company, we are having two basic products. One is technology, organic aqua solution. It's a new media for purification of water, and another is Tap a Tap, which is a IoT device for remote monitoring of water quality and uses. So we are developing both the technologies because it is important that we purify the technology and we have control over the monitoring and control over the our products, especially the community scale larger plants. So this is our team. I'm heading the operation strategy and all the new initiatives that we are taking. And Professor Sindhu Day, he's one of the he's the chief innovator of the technology, and he's also the recipient of Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award. Is the highest honor in technology innovation in India. And Apurva is a civil engineer, and he takes care of all the plant operations and installations, the larger scale. Prahlad Kakkad is one of the art film, very popular branding and a legend from India. He's also associated with the company.
Let's go to the business model and
yeah. Okay, so
can we go to?
Okay, so
I'm trying to understand what the business is. Is this a B2B business, B2C business? What are we talking about here?
Yeah. So we are talking about all three verticals: B2C, B2B, B2G. Because government is so if you can go to the slide which is talking about the all three verticals, all the products. Can you move ahead? Move the slide. Yeah. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so here we are talking about, so these are, in this screen, what you are seeing are basically three products. So this is the media that we manufacture. It's a nanoporous material. I was not able to explain about the entire technology development, which was there in the second slide. But the basic idea is that there's community scale drinking water purification plants that is being installed in India, Bangladesh, and other African countries where there are critical water quality issues, so that the community can avail the drinking water purifier from there. Mostly, they are using RO technology based purifier, which is not a very sustainable solution, and which is also making the water unhealthy in terms of pH level and also in terms of very low TDS level. So here we mitigate those problems, and these are the three models. All three models we have done B2G almost 12. 1 dozen installations in 1 dozen villages we have done, which is suffering from acute water quality issues, and especially issues like arsenic. Then we have also done some B2B installations where with the CSR funds and by organizations who are working with drinking water solution, providing safe drinking water to the community. So by their help, we have with the fund supporting from them, we have done the installations with them, and we've also come up with a new domestic water purifier, which is non-electric based, and it works with basic pressure for the whole purification, and it is suitable for the places where there is no electricity, and also in general, it is for any domestic use. We also have tap a tap, as I said, which is
Sandeep,
IoT device.
I have a few thoughts right off the
Yeah.
bat.
Mhm.
I think you're doing too much. And what
Mhm.
I'd like to know is, where is a really fast growth scalable solution here? Is that in B2G? Is that in B2B? Like these, if you go, I saw there was a traction slide earlier. Let's go back to that.
Mhm.
Where is the maximum traction? Under what business model is the biggest traction?
So in terms of, I mean, the best is B2C because there's good demand and there's market, and but we have not yet gone into that market. We have just done the prototype of the domestic purifier because it is a new technology for water purification, which will be under drinking water
Why do you
for
say
human
B2C
consumption.
is the best market? I think B2C is going to be the hardest market for you to crack.
Yes, penetration will be market penetration will be tough. Service will be challenging,
But where
but
are
at
you
the same
getting
time,
traction? Has anybody paid for this technology yet?
yes. I mean, we have done a dozen installation through B2G. Through B2B, we have done almost a dozen installation, almost $500,000 business we have done, and recently we launched the domestic purifier, this B2C model in UN Water Conference last month, and we also got a B2B order from there for almost $86,000.
And who plays the B2B order?
So, I mean, government has a lot of funds, but we are not going there because it is a lot of red tapeism is there and a lot of problems are there in terms of payments and installations. But for B2B, foundations are funding. So, like WIN Foundation, Wheels Foundation, Selco Foundation, Stanford Doer School of Sustainability. So these people have come together to fund this whole eight villages, eight installation that we signed last month.
My feeling is, for this to be a big business and really achieve its potential, you're going to need to going to need to go with a business model that allows you to really penetrate rural India, right?
Yes. Rural India, and also now UN has connected us to almost 9 countries where arsenic problem is there, because the way this technology removes arsenic,
Yeah,
which
but
is the
you have to
major.
go in steps. You can't do everything at once. You don't have the resources to do everything at once. You're an Indian company. Right now, your traction is all in India. You should first figure out how to penetrate rural India at scale.
Agree.
And has real good penetration in rural India by way of dealing with the issues of villages and water and so forth? I would say the people who are doing the NGOs who are doing work in those areas, and that is Ramakrishna Mission is the largest NGO in India with enormous amount of penetration into rural India. So you need to get into discussions with Ramakrishna Mission and see how you can work with them, how the funds are going to flow, because they have tremendous capacity, they get tremendous amount of funding.
I
They
agree.
model village, there's this, they have this organization within the mission called Lok Shiksha Parishad, and it's run out of Narendrapur in West Bengal. These people have great penetration, great grassroots, feet on the street penetration, and if you can work with them, you can have a scalable way of getting into those villages, and you can figure out then exactly how to fund that. And I think Ramakrishna Mission has ways of funding these things, as well as there are other organizations who are very active in funding this kind of efforts. Those include Rotary International.
Absolutely. I
So
agree. And in fact, today we also had a meeting today itself with Rotary India Water Foundation. And so there is good potential with these these foundations, and there are many other foundations that we are meeting after successfully doing the validation at ground with all the installations that we have done in the past. So now we are getting traction from them. And also, we have been winner of Crompton Design Challenge. Crompton is one of the leading electronic retail company in India, and they wanted to get into the kitchenware, and water purifier is one of the component for that. And they were looking for a non-RO based solution, and we are one of them, and we were winners. So we were.
For consumer, for B2C, you should look for an OEM partner. Crompton could be a good OEM partner. You could license your technology to Crompton and go to market through them and let them do the marketing. Don't take on the B2C marketing.
Yes, that's the whole idea.
Yeah. So what other questions do you have?
So, I mean, one of the challenges that we are facing is scalability at this point of time, because on one side we are talking with Crompton for retail. On other side, Aliaxis, which is one of the global leader in water, they are also interested. They have also were running a competition, and we are one of the finalists in top 5 now. In a 1 year of evaluation process.
The B2C scalability is very simple. You're going to need to identify, and this you can do internationally. You can do it in Africa, you can do it in India, you can do it in Bangladesh, Pakistan, wherever you want, Nepal, wherever you want to do it. Find the most compatible, Crompton kind of company that already has market penetration is selling appliances to consumers. The AquaGuard, for instance, in India is an established business. So people who are selling already into this market are looking for further technology. You just OEM your technology to these players, and that's how you get into the market.
Yes.
So that's a scalable model. You have to, however, that's a B2B. For you, it is a B2B business. For them, it's a B2C business. For you, it is a B2B business of identifying, let's say 20 of these companies doing those deals, and just that's really all you need to do is do these deals and support the go-to-market strategy through those companies. That's I would say is your B2C strategy. Now on the NGO side, I think there is a very, very interesting opportunity here, because there is a lot of effort in water purification in the villages and in the slums and so on and so forth through these NGOs. So you need to, if you partner with the right NGOs who have water related initiatives, that is your scalability strategy, especially the ones that have large penetration. And I know for a fact that Ramakrishna Mission has lots of penetration in rural India. I know Rotary has all kinds of projects and so forth. So I'm quite well connected into those organizations. So I know what they do, how they operate, and so forth. So I would say those are my comments on scalability.
Hello, Shravana,
Yes.
you're not audible.
I think I'm plenty audible. Are people not hearing me? Is anybody else having difficulty hearing me?
Shravana, you are not audible. I'm sorry. Is it?
Be loud and clear.
Everybody else can hear me, so you may want to pick this up from the recording, what I said. So I'm going to move on. See if you can fix your audio to have further conversation, but I'm going to move on. Folks, if you like the way we operate here, as you can see, as I said right at the beginning, it's a safe working session. We're really brainstorming about strategy. We're brainstorming about things you need to do to accelerate your journey. If you're thinking about funding, what would investors need to fund you? This TAM question, the bottom-up TAM analysis question, comes up all the time. You have to put together a proper TAM model, without which you can't really assess the rest of your strategy. So if you like this model, it's very, it's trusting, right? I don't have any agenda. You can talk to me, I can talk to you, and I'm not trying to put you down or anything. There's no malice. I'm just giving you feedback on what I see. So if you like this approach, please refer 1Mby1M to serious entrepreneurs. All our resources are available online from anywhere in the world. So 1Mby1M.com is the repository for everything. You can find a free blog, which is very resourceful, very enlightening. So follow that. You can start your learning journey with the Entrepreneur Journeys book series. There are 12 volumes of case study based books. These roundtables happen every week or every other week, and you can come to these online. You can register and book your slot. You can pitch for free once. If you want ongoing relationship with the program, you would need to be in the annual membership fee based premium program, and there you get extensive methodology guidance, weekly touch points. You have a full access to the curriculum, where we have contacts. You get business development help. So in Saket, your case, I actually have very, very significant contacts in both Ramakrishna Mission, Rotary, and so on. So if you need those contacts, get in the premium program and I will make those connections for you. And you get, this kind of ongoing, very in-depth strategy discussions on a regular basis. We do help you with financing. We have a large network of investors that we work with, but you have to get ready for financing. We will get you ready for financing if your business warrants that kind of financing discussions, and then we will send you to the network, to the right set of investors. The 1Mby1M self-assessment is a free tool available on the website with the questions, due diligence questions that investors would ask you. Please go through that and try to answer them. If you get stuck, it's a good thing to go do curriculum work. Now, curriculum work, there's a free bootstrapping course, less than 1 hour. We are big believers in bootstrapping. I strongly recommend you do this bootstrapping course. These days, investors don't invest in concept unless you're like Elon Musk. So if you have successful entrepreneurship track record, you've made money for investors, then those investors may give you a check and let you start something at a concept level with financing. But it doesn't happen for first-time entrepreneurs. It doesn't happen unless you have significant track record of making money. And it's a bit of a strange concept, because if you have made money, then you can finance your bootstrapping stage. You don't really need investor money right away, which is what most entrepreneurs do. Another body of curriculum access is through Udemy. We have been working with them for a couple of years now, and we've given them about 60 courses, 60, 70 courses almost. And you can start learning there as well. very, very inexpensive. And Maureen just gave you all the link to coupons. Every month we publish coupons. Udemy runs sales and so forth. So you can access our Udemy courses at really, really reasonable prices and really get your learning going. That's a very, very affordable way to get started. Then we have 1M1M Basic, which is over 3,000 hours worth of curriculum on our website, and that's a subscription model, $99 a month, and you get access to everything that we have, and a lot of stuff that we don't give to Udemy. In particular, the methodology elements of positioning, of funding, actually funding, pitches, pitch development, TAM analysis, one that comes up all the time, sales funnel management within customer acquisition, a variety of different methodology elements that we use all the time to train our entrepreneurs in specific areas where they have knowledge gaps. This material we have not given to Udemy, at least not yet. We may change our minds later, but at the moment, this is only available through 1M1M Basic. So go look at the website, dig around, look at what to expect from premium, what to expect from basic pages, look at the FAQs, video FAQs, understand how the curriculum is organized. And it is a case study based curriculum. We have thousands of case studies of successful entrepreneurs, and they share generously. It's the who's who of the tech industry. You can learn a lot from these people, and everything we teach is based on case studies. So you're not just learning from me, you're learning from thousands of successful entrepreneurs who have very generously come and shared their lessons from the trenches. And we have created a very efficient, effective way of having you access all this. This is like any MBA program where people, at Stanford, at Harvard, they have access to high-end people and they're invited to speak at the classes. What we have done is democratized access. And that's what you get through 1 million by 1 million, is really the ability to listen to all these people, facilitated listening. I ask the questions that would help you learn. Now, if you're looking for funding and you're coming here in search of funding, do go through the investor introductions page on the website. It clearly lays out a lot of the nuances there. We do have a lot of investment related content on Udemy. How investors think is a series of courses that are directly hearing from investors on what they're looking for in each stage, whether it's pre-seed, seed, post-seed, pre-series A, deep tech, alternatives to unicorn chasing investors, etc. So the mantra is don't go to investors as beggars, go as kings. And for that, you have to bootstrap first and then raise money later. That's it. We have 2 roundtables in May 11th and 18th. I hope to see you, some of you, in those. We can get back to Q&A. We do have time for more Q&A. You can dial in, you can use your computer audio, you can use public chat, whatever way you want to ask questions is fine. I'll be happy to answer. And after this, after today's session, if you have questions about the 1M1M program, your contact is Irina Patterson, irina@1M1M.com. She'll be happy to answer any of your questions via any mode. Email, text, WhatsApp, Skype, you can talk to her by phone, all of that is fine. Anybody, questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there a in-person location for the 1M1M program where I can meet advisors and other
That's not
or is
how
it all?
It's 100% virtual program. You can access it from anywhere you want. Advisor introductions, investor introductions happen through us, through the program. But you need to be part of the premium program to be introduced to people.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. You're very welcome. Saket's friend, Pankaj, who referred him here, just got a massive opportunity opened up through 1 million by 1 million, with a company that is doing $1 billion in revenue. The CEO is a close friend of mine, and I just introduced him, and they're putting 10 people on the eval meeting, the first meeting right away.
Okay. Yeah, I look forward to connect and find out what are the opportunities that can be possible right now.
Okay, well,
Question.
yes, please.
Hey, hi, Shramana. My name is Vinay Kanchanapalli, and I'm based in the Bay Area, California.
Yeah.
I'm currently exploring concepts. I'm also trying to find potential co-founders, and
Yeah.
I happen to take the Udemy course through my work, and that's when I discovered this. And I wanted to also understand how you work.
And
At
what
what
company
stage?
it was?
Sorry?
What company did you do this through?
Oh, Intuit.
Intuit. Okay, fabulous.
Yeah, they have a TurboTax premium. I work for Intuit as a platform product manager.
Okay.
I also scout for a VC firm. I just started it to understand about angel investments. And my question is, at what stage do people start working with you in terms of, maybe getting a premium subscription or a premium membership?
So, our preference is as early as possible, just because we don't want you to go down paths where we have to make you unlearn a lot of things. But what we have done by putting so much material on Udemy is exactly to facilitate some of that learning. Especially what you are doing is something that a lot of people are doing right now, which we call bootstrapping with a paycheck. People are working on their concepts on the side. And in that process, there's a lot of learning, right? As you can see, there's a lot of things that you have to learn. For example, if you're trying to learn about investment, there is a whole lot of courses that we have released on Udemy that are how investors think courses. That's perfect for you. If that's something that you're trying to learn, that's perfect for you. There are like 6, 7 courses that you can go through, and you will have a very detailed understanding of investment. We have a VC due diligence course on Udemy. Again, it will give you a lot of depth in the area of investment, on both sides of the table. Actually, people who are investing are also taking those courses. So you can get it on both sides of the table. You can get it from a fundraising point of view. You can get it from a thinking about a fund strategy point of view. Now, we do have a course on bootstrapping with a paycheck, actually, where I deal with a lot of the issues of people who are doing it in this mode. And you mentioned co-founders. There's a course that we have released on Udemy on solo founders. So
That's good to know. Because I thought there was a bad rap around being solo. And I've been going on these Y Combinator matching events. It's one thing to talk with someone for a few minutes to know like how you can work as a team, be functional as a team.
I'm a very big non-believer in random co-founder matchmaking. I don't believe in it at all. If a co-founder is really difficult to get divorced from. You can get divorced in your marriage more easily than getting divorced from a co-founder. So be very, very, very vigilant about whom you pair up in a co-founder mode. It's a dangerous thing to do without knowing how you work together and so forth. So I prefer a solo founder and getting the resources together to get from concept to business, and then you can start getting financing based on your business as opposed to just concept. In any case, it's very difficult to get funded as in a concept mode.
And what's your thought on this? You have these how do you put it? You have these venture architect type models right now, where there are these companies like Founders Factory, and even BCG had its digital ventures, where these companies invest, like high capital companies with a lot of capital invest in these consultancies, and they look for founders who then help build things for pre-discovered ideas. So that like some are also suggesting that might be something you can explore if you cannot go all in at a certain point in time.
My favorite is bootstrapping with a paycheck.
Okay.
So you keep control, you do it nights and weekends, you hold on to your job and you do your own thing. You are in control. you decide how you want to play this and exactly how to move forward. And then you can raise money. You can raise money. You can even, I mean, we have case studies of people getting into Y Combinator after bootstrapping with a paycheck. So I would go that route, especially if you're in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. I'll be in touch. And I'm currently in the process of making some life decisions as I get into this.
Yeah,
But
these
I
are
am
big decisions.
exploring.
Getting into entrepreneurship is a big decision. How you get into entrepreneurship is a big decision. So do it with knowledge. Do it, do it diligently. Do your homework. So that's why I think, one of the reasons we chose to work with Udemy and give them so much of our content is to facilitate that at scale, so that people can do their homework without investing too much money and really, really make informed decisions, informed choices than just, listening to the Zeitgeist. This whole business of solo founders don't work is complete bullshit.
Yeah, I've actually seen proof points which go like where both things have been successful, team founders versus solo founders. It's just that this notion which circulates around.
This myth is going to be driven to dust if you just do our solo founder course. It's a fabulous course, very inspiring, very meaty. You'll learn a lot, and it completely establishes the point that point that solo founders don't work is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for the inputs.
You're very welcome. Anybody else? Okay, folks. Good luck. Make lots of progress, and come back as you need help. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
For your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So much.